fellow ministers, members and friends of the Unitarian Church of Staten Island. Very fond greetings to you all. This church is an inspired place, and it has been that way, in my view, for nearly 170 years. It also personally holds a dear place in my heart. From its founding in 1852, when abolitionists included members and its minister, to the 1930s, when Reverend Howard Brooks visited Nazi-occupied France with humanitarian aid for adults and children in concentration camps. This religious community has been a beacon for free thought and inquiry, for truth-seeking, for the creative arts, for social justice, and for caring and love. Among the cherished memories and achievements during the 21 plus years that I had the privilege of serving as minister, several emerge as exceptionally notable. We started as a congregation with the youngest in our community. In 1985, when I began, the downstairs area of the building was a veritable landfill of broken boards and rusty nails, toys in disrepair, sundry other disposables, a place you would not want to invite visitors. Within a few years, that area was cleared and attractive classrooms and meeting space were created. This physical accomplishment communicated to our children and our youth, you are important to us. We want a safe, attractive environment for you and for liberal religious education. We then moved to the other end of the age spectrum with the development of the beautiful memorial garden in the backyard, thanks to the design of landscape architect and church member, the late Brad Green, along with the leadership of Mary Lou Green and others, some of you who are with us probably today. A dignified place came into existence where environmentally sound interment can occur and where we can honor the memory of those we cherish who have passed before us. And on its 20th anniversary, it is a reminder that we endured the September 11th attacks together, losing the son-in-law of a congregant in that tragedy. I was proud that this congregation later voted unanimously to oppose the military attack on the people and nation of Iraq, a war that caused so much needless death and destruction. Around that time, this church became a welcoming congregation, as it was known, affirming all comers, irrespective of sexual orientation. More quietly, the board leadership allowed a certain Catholic priest in the community who called in his sermon on Martin Luther King Sunday for his listeners to affirm gay, he would now say GLBTQ plus people, as full human beings. He was evicted from that parish for that remark, and our board decided to allow him to continue his counseling practice on the premises of the Unitarian Church, our church. Finally, on a personal note, I will never forget when my son Jonathan lost his life in 2017, the support and the love extended by members of this congregation and the minister. Some of you traveled 50 miles to his memorial service in Massapequa, Long Island. My gratitude to you, dear friends, my appreciation for the great vitality of this church under Emily's leadership, and my hopes that the light of this congregation will continue to shine brightly in the months and years ahead. Thank you.
Hello, Staten Island. I'm Edmund Robinson, and I served you as interim minister 2007 to 2008. And I'd like to just share a little song that I probably shared with you back then, because it expresses to me the idea of covenant. Covenant is really an agreement to walk together, to share the road a while. It was a pleasure to know you, a pleasure to see you smile, a comfort to know we've shared the road a while. Pleasure was fleeting, and comforts are far between. It was a pleasure to know you, and the comforts you bring. They say life's a highway, a journey from birth to death, wrapped in despair, entraveled in hopelessness. Well, they can believe it, but just between you and me, the trip to the traveling, it's all in the company. It's a pleasure to know you, a pleasure to see you smile, a comfort to know we shared the road a while. Pleasure is freedom, comforts are far between. A pleasure to know you, and the comfort you bring. Blessings on you, Staten Island.
Greetings to you all, Unitarian Church of Staten Island. This is Susan Karlson, one of your former ministers. The beauty of your community is well ingrained in my memory. I have some of my happiest memories worshiping, gathering, sharing, auctioning, celebrating with you. I remember so many animal blessings and celebrations of life, weddings, out in that memorial garden, that sacred ground that you consecrated. I remember times when the children brought in the peace pole that had been gathered and collected from one congregation to another in Staten Island, part of the Building Bridges project. And I remember also a banner about religious exploration that we put out in front of the church, welcoming all families, all children to UUCSI. I remember housing the homeless every night of the week through Project Hospitality and our partnership with El Centro. I remember UCSI being a place that stood beside others in getting through Superstorm Sandy. And innumerable times when I saw how you loved and cared for one another and the whole community. I think of you so often during this time of the pandemic, what you have been through, what all of you in New York City have been through, what all of us all across this country and the world have been through. And my friends, I am so honored to have been your minister and to share this little space and time with you again through this recording as you celebrate your ingathering in 2021. May you remain strong and compassionate, resilient, and may laughter and fun echo through your individual and your collective lives. Blessings to each and every one of you. I send you my love.
I will explain what makes this community special to me by quoting from a baseball novel and movie, which I'm sure is no surprise to anyone there. This is from Bang the Drum Slowly, a novel written by Mark Harris and later made into a movie starring Robert De Niro, who is a young catcher severely lacking confidence. The star pitcher tells him he has nothing to fear because half the pitchers you face are only country boys like yourself, and the other half are only country boys from the city. I thought country boys from the city was a marvelous phrase. It is significant today because I believe what makes the Unitarian Church of Staten Island special is that it is a country church from the city. That is, I was struck at how similar we are to my first church, the Universalist Church of Sampson County at Red Hill in North Carolina, about 12 miles outside Clinton, a small town of about 8,500 people. The people there knew each other well and had long since forgiven each other's foibles. Their budget was within their means, and they sincerely enjoyed each other's company. When I arrived in 1974, and Christian academies sprung up with the sole purpose of resegregating education, not one of our families enrolled their children, not one of our several teachers left to teach in any of them. Most of the congregation were then Republicans. Their families had been Republican since the days of Reconstruction. I was delighted to discover that the Unitarian Church of Staten Island had many of these fine qualities also. You know each other, have mostly forgiven each other's foibles. Everybody pitches in. Like Red Hill, you have learned how to be an effective liberal congregation in an illiberal part of the world. For Red Hill, this goes back to Reconstruction. For the Unitarian Church of Staten Island, it goes back to abolitionists, the Underground Railroad, and the founding of the party that the ancestors at Red Hill joined. What makes the Unitarian Church of Staten Island and Red Hill special is simply the combination of justice and community. While this is the goal of all Unitarian Universalist congregations, not all attain it. I am very privileged to have had my run as minister begin and end with two such worthwhile and surprisingly similar congregations. Thanks.